Hey guys, how we going? Mikey here from Startcrypto.online. Now, I thought I'd just do a quick live today. We've obviously broken through as of yesterday our previous support here on Bitcoin. So what we're looking for at the moment is as a daily candle, for example. This was an accelerating candle. So what we're looking for is a possible push down to 3K or a bit of a pullback to 3.6 and move down to 3K-ish. Now that's looking very likely at the moment. Although what we need to keep an eye on is also the BTC USD shorts. Okay, so these are basically almost at all-time highs as far as shorts are concerned, and you can see from each time we've been at this level, we've had a massive take profit or liquidation of a lot of shorts. Now, what this will do on Bitcoin price is obviously if a lot of people close their short positions, Bitcoin price will spike upwards. So, you know, if the shorts keep continuing to happen like they did, you know, back at these previous levels, which we're at now, if these shorts kind of start to taper off, you know, we're looking at a possible reversal around this, you know, 3.2 to 3K level. Now, if we get a sell-off like we did, or if we get a short off, I should say, like we did every other previous time at these levels, we will, you know, it'll spark an upwards move on Bitcoin. Now, you know, is that going to trigger a bull run? Who knows? Don't know. But what we need to be looking at the moment is we need to wait for this bottom to settle in, and we need to, you know, be watching for the bottom to settle in, and then look for our reversals, our higher highs, higher lows, and that, so on and so forth. So this is no trade zone for me at the moment on Bitcoin completely. I'm not shorting the market right now, basically because it's what everyone else is doing. Most of the time you want to do the opposite to what the crowd's doing, what the herd's doing, and you need to time that appropriately. So not trading BTC at the moment, just looking for that, you know, not looking to catch the bottom, not looking to do any of that. For people who don't have Bitcoin at the moment, there's nothing wrong with starting to scale in now as far as setting buy orders and so forth. So, you know, if I've had some friends ask me recently, you know, what sort of levels they should be buying Bitcoin at and that sort of thing if they want to get into the market. If they don't have any Bitcoin at all at the moment, there's nothing wrong with setting some orders around this level where we are, and then dollar cost averaging in, basically, because what they don't want to miss out on the overall grand scheme opportunity. Obviously, we're at pretty low prices at the moment. Bitcoin is still a very small market cap compared to every other asset class out there. So the potential for upside in Bitcoin versus the risks of it, you know, being completely worthless are the risk versus reward aspect is so good that, you know, you'd be silly not to. If you know about cryptocurrency and you don't have any Bitcoin yet, you're, you know, long term, you're potentially missing out on one of the biggest moves in the market that we've had pretty much in our lifetime. You know, most of us in the largest Australian groups and so on and so forth are probably, most of us were probably too young to hit the .com boom, okay? And, you know, now we've got this opportunity right in front of our faces with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies that if we're not trying to take advantage of that and capitalize on the longer term move over the next few years, it's really silly. to get ahead in anything you're doing, you have to take a risk at some point in your life. Otherwise, you're going to be just sitting there working full-time for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Like, you have to take a risk at some point if you want to progress further. So that comes down to your own risk versus reward. But, you know, regardless of what you do, whether it's trading, whether you're playing sport, whether you're making something new, whether you're aspiring to be good at a new topic or a new new hobby or whatever, at some point in time you have to take a risk to better yourself. So we're kind of at that point again now with Bitcoin where, you know, we've had so many people back last year saying Bitcoin's too high, it's too expensive, I want it to drop, I want to buy in. Those same exact people now have the psychology mindset that they're like, oh shit, it's dropped so much in price, now I don't want to buy it. So they're wishing for a drop in price, but then once it drops in price, their whole psychology changes and they don't want to buy it, which is the wrong effect. When everybody else is fearful in the market and everybody else is selling, that's when we need to be, you know, on the other side of that. So again, you know, if you don't have Bitcoin or anything at the moment, you know, look to start scaling in. There's nothing wrong with dollar cost averaging in from where we are now. You know, we could get new lows. We could potentially come all the way back down to our previous highs, which was like, you know, 1300-ish. That is a definite possibility. There's nothing that can't happen, but if you're dollar cost averaging in, at least you're in a better position than missing the whole move completely next time the move happens, okay? So, you know, a lot of my friends and family and stuff, I've started to tell them, you know, let's start setting you guys up. Let's start dollar cost averaging in. Nothing wrong with that at all. Because the potential upside, you know, even from where we are right now, we're looking at 6x back to previous all-time highs, okay? So 6 times potential, even just back to previous all-time highs, which we know, again, even back to previous all-time highs, our overall market cap was around, I believe it was like 800, what was it? 700, 8, I was going to say 850, but it's about 813 billion. $813 billion in terms of overall market cap in a completely new asset class is realistically fuck all. Like, you know, we've got hundreds of trillions of dollars in cash, bonds, stocks, everything else that's there. If we even get, you know, 1 or 2% of their market comes over into our market cap, we're already looking at 5 times, 10 times, 20 times what we're at the moment, okay? So just think of that in long-term perspective. Most people aren't going to be trading and stuff. A lot of the newer people just want to buy some and hold some. You still need to learn really basic fundamentals or technical analysis to find out where you want to be cashing out from. And you can do that obviously on my site, Startcrypto.online. It's a complete beginner's course, absolutely free, guys. It'll teach you all the basics you need, okay, for what you need to be looking at in terms of, you know, once you start buying, you still need to use some sort of technicals. A lot of people say technical analysis doesn't work. You still need to be using some sort of technicals to see previous price points we've hit to go, okay, that's a level of interest, I want to start cashing out now. Or that's a level of interest, I'm happy with the percentage that I've gained, I want to start cashing out now based on, you know, where prices previously hit and where price may previously go to again, okay? So you still need to have some form of basic technical analysis to at least look at where you want to exit the market. You know, everyone says technicals doesn't work. I don't know how or why how they enter the market to begin with, and then how they exit the market as well. There has to be some form of something there to say, to make a rational decision, not just buy and sell. Like, you have to have some form of trade plan or rationality there to buy and sell. You know what I mean? So you can't just buy randomly or sell at some random point. You've got no idea what's going on. Apple Fury, I'm actually free when a live thing is going on. This is unheard of for me. Hey, welcome Apple Fury. It's good to see you've caught on to a live. So just discussing a few Bitcoin things here at the moment. Again, if you've missed any of this, it'll be uploaded on YouTube straight afterwards. So go ahead and revisit it. Just going over the Bitcoin stuff currently. So that's kind of where Bitcoin is for me at the moment. If we get, if we get anywhere down here, like 1300, 2K or something like that, like that for me is honestly, when I talk risk versus reward for me, I'm willing to go all in to take, I'm willing to have a massive risk versus an astronomical return. If we get anywhere down around this 1300-ish level in the future, I'm like, I'm selling all my shit and I'm buying Bitcoin. I started with nothing. If it goes that badly, I can build something from nothing again. You know what I mean? It doesn't really faze me. That's the risk for me. The risk is like, if I sold like my house, for example, and went all in at like 1300, that for me is a risk I'm willing to take. I obviously don't recommend everybody just sell everything and buy Bitcoin. I'm not saying that, but you have to weigh up what your own risks versus your own rewards may be. Now, for me, that's a risk I'm willing to take to potentially have a ridiculous lifestyle for the rest of my life if something like that was to happen. You know what I mean? Like if it just took off so much. So that's kind of where I'm at with Bitcoin, just seeing what happens. And yeah, see what happens from there. Now, our overall market cap, our market cap being this low, we haven't been this low since, we're at 107 billion currently. We haven't been this low since like, early 2017. So, well, mid to early 2017. We had a previous high mid 2017 at about this level. We obviously broke down below that again, and we've just smashed through it again. So, there is going to be another bull run in the market, guys. So we need to set up and get ready for that. We don't know when that's going to happen. We could go bearish for the rest of 2019. We could go bearish all the way through 2019. Who knows? This is what I'm talking about. No one knows. When you put time frames on things, it's very hard, but using the technicals, we can at least track what is happening in the market and predict where things are potentially going to go, not realistically on a time frame, but just on a price scale. So we're not rushing into things. We can at least track what is happening in the market to see what's going on. So that's Bitcoin. Now, in a couple of previous videos, we're also discussing, I was talking about Bitcoin Cash parity. Now, when I mean parity, I mean both Bitcoin Cashes being at about the same level. Now, we've got that happening now. So Bitcoin SV and Bitcoin Cash, they've had a flip. Okay, so Bitcoin SV is now worth more than Bitcoin Cash. Okay, but I expect that to be a longer term thing. So unless one of them just comes along with some crazy market adoption or real world adoption or something, I don't see either one spiking too far away from the other. So future long term trade prospect, this will be something I'll be tracking, is where they are in relation directly to each other. If one drops 10, 20, 30% against the other one, again, track the technicals, track what's happening in the market, make sure that they're still running, they're still on track with whatever they're trying to do from a fundamental point of view, and then look to take that trade opportunity as well. Because I think this parity is going to have multiple flips between these two guys long term, based on the fact of they're both fork coins, they're both trying to do similar shit in the marketplace. They're realistically two different teams of developers that are trying to do their own Bitcoin spin-off. I don't see either one of them, being ridiculously higher than the other moving forward, unless something drastically changes with the fundamentals from the development team. Like if the development team just goes, no, we're not going to, we're not going to keep doing this, or again, one of them comes out with some form of massive market adoption, kind of like what just happened with Binance Coin, where they're now accepted in, however many million motels around the world. Unless something drastic happens like that, I don't see either one sort of spin off from each other. So long-term things for me, I'll be tracking the differences between these two. So Apple Fury says, I apologize if I missed this either here or on Facebook, but will there be live trade sessions on your website? Yeah, there definitely will be live trade sessions. They'll basically be done like this. So while I'm going over the market, if there is a trade opportunity that I'm going to take myself, I'll take that live on stream. No worries at all. I don't see that happening very often. It'd be pretty lucky for it to happen right then and there, but I'm at least going to be giving you guys upcoming opportunity that I'm looking at as well. So, for example, we'll get into this one in a minute. We'll talk about Ripple in a minute. So that's the two Bitcoin caches. Effectively, we're going to be talking about longer term. So we'll be tracking the two of those. And if we move over to Bitcoin Cash specifically, in one of my previous videos from a few days ago, we were talking about looking at this level, which was pretty much a previous low, this 0.04-ish level. Okay, obviously we didn't get any trade set up to take that long at all, and it's just tanked massively in value, and now we've got our Flippening parity sort of thing happening on the two Bitcoins, so two Bitcoin caches. So what we want to be looking for here is, again, we're not trading this either way. This is at new lows for Bitcoin Cash recently, probably in the last year at least, or even since it's come out. We don't want to be trading this short. We don't want to be trading it long either, because that's when people refer to catching a falling knife. We've got no reversal patterns here. We've got no upside. We've got nothing that's going to tell us that there is a long setting up here. Okay, so we're not looking to trade it long, and we're also not looking to trade it short because we've already missed the move. We've missed this whole move to the downside. Okay, the move's already happened. We're not going to chase it. We're not going to fear of missing out and jump in now. That's just silly. We want to look for a clear setup. So that's not going to happen either. So the other one that I'm watching very closely is Ripple. Now, Ripple, we've got some nice pullbacks through the zone here. Okay, nice little setups. Now we've broken and we've closed to new lows. So what I'm looking for here is we've already broken and closed below this area. I'm looking for breaks and then retests of this area to go short from here. Okay, so the reason I'm mainly watching Ripple over most other altcoins are most other altcoins at the moment are already right down at their lows, as far as if we jump over to, say, Ethereum, for example, Ethereum's trading at the moment almost 0.025 of a Bitcoin. Now, Ethereum hasn't been that low since last year. It has not been that low since today. Exactly 1 year ago, Ethereum has not traded that low for 1 year exactly. Okay, so again with Ethereum, we're not looking to short that market because it's at its pretty much previous all-time lows. We definitely don't want to be shorting anywhere there. If anything, we're looking for a reversal and some long positions on that. But again, we're not going to long from here because it's an accelerating downtrend. Okay, it's accelerating again right now. So we don't want to be opening long positions from here when it's accelerating to the downside, because that's just silly. But if we look at Ripple again, and we'll look at Ripple on a Poloniex chart so we can see more history, because this XRP Z18 is obviously a BitMEX chart, which is only a couple of months of data. So if we look back at previous historical stuff on Ripple, you can actually see we're still at a quite high level compared to where we've been historically in terms of low moves. Like this time exactly 1 year ago, we were trading at 1100, 1200 sats. We're now trading at 8800 sats. You know what I mean? So there's a lot more downside potential for Ripple, especially if Bitcoin, especially if we get a massive, if we get those short squeeze positions here, these Bitcoin shorts. Okay, if this tanks to the downside again, if we go back to like a daily chart, if we get up to here and this tanks off like these again, like these previous high positions, okay, what we're going to get is an upside with Bitcoin. And then what that's going to do is that's going to reduce the Satoshi value of Ripple as well. Okay, so Ripple's at a relatively high position to what it's been in terms of previous Satoshi value. Okay, so it still has a lot more room to move to the downside potential. And if we get a nice move upwards with Bitcoin, this will move down further again. Okay, so that's why I'm closely following this. This is probably, you know, this is looking at about one of the best coins to potentially short at the moment over any other coin. Now over the last 3-4 months, this Ripple's actually performed quite well during this pretty crappy period in the market. But having said that, you know, we were trading at 4,000 sats, backed it. So we're still over 100% up from where people were buying. If they were buying at like 4,000 sats, we're still over 100% profit margin. So if this price starts to come down, if this price starts to taper off, any of these guys that have started to buy actual Ripple coin through any of this zone here, okay, anyone that's bought within this kind of area here, and they start to see price tanking off, that again causes panic, causes a sell-off in the market. Everyone kind of jumps on the bandwagon, opens short positions, that kind of thing. So whatever happens in the market is also fueled by the fear of missing out or panic selling as well. Just keep that in mind. So if we start to see the downside here, you know, we can break most of these previous levels fairly easily, and you could trade this all the way back down to, you know, at least this level here, which is about 7,200, 7,300. So that's what I'm looking at the moment. So from a daily perspective, you know, we've started to make lower lows, lower highs already. From a weekly perspective, if we look at the weekly, last week we had a bearish engulfing candle of this candle. So we had a massive wick to the upside, then we had a bearish engulfing. Now we're in this week here. Okay, so from a weekly perspective, we've kind of got our reversal signal. From a daily perspective, we're making our lower lows, lower highs. From a 4-hourly pattern, we're definitely looking very bearish as well. So now we're looking to time our entry on the lower time frame charts to get a nice entry. Okay, that's what I'm looking at the most over pretty much everything in the market at the moment. I'll just quickly check Facebook. Don't know if it's relating to anything. Nah, I don't think it is. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Anyone watching at the moment, if you got any questions, we can go over any coins or whatever. If no one's got any questions, I'm just going to quickly start talk about Start Crypto site as well. So Startcrypto.online, guys, I'll put it in the chat. Here you can get a completely free beginner's course. Okay, you just sign up with your name and your email. Come in here, trading content, beginner's course, bang, done. It's got a complete breakdown of different things for a basic setup and basic strategy as well. So for a bullish market, the beginner's course works extremely well for a bullish market. So at least if you learn that now, you'll be set up for the next bullish run in the market. Learning now in the current market is going to be the best time to learn as well, guys. You want to be learning now and making sure you're up to date with what's happening in the market. The other thing is the private forums that we've got on the website. Okay, what I'm going to be doing is adding a BitMEX section and a Binance section, and then I'm actually going to link my TradingView charts directly in those areas, so you can get my up-to-date charts. So every time I update my chart, it's already going to be updated for you as well. So you can cross-reference my charts versus your charts to make sure you're learning the correct things to be looking for and learning the good support and resistance areas, the good buying and selling zones, the good trend lines, all that sort of stuff. Okay, to make sure you're learning correctly, and that's going to be obviously for members only. So the forums, you can either buy the forums themselves for like just $10, or any subscriber get access to the forums as well. Okay, so that will also have trade setups I'm looking at. So it won't be signals per se. It's not going to give you a buy and a sell. I'm not going to be doing that because I want you to learn correctly yourselves. But I'm happy to discuss anything I'm looking at myself, so you guys are aware of what's coming up in the market. I'm looking at NEO and giving you a take on it. I got in a while back and never really thought as to where it would go. Yeah, sure. Let's have a look at NEO. So NEO, I don't have any NEO myself at the moment. So NEO BTC on Binance again. NEO, even just from looking at this straight away, we're actually lower than previous lows this time last year, and we're pretty much at the lowest point we've ever been as far as Binance and NEO is concerned. Let's have a look on NEO BTC. Let's have a look at Bittrex. I think it may have been on Bittrex slightly longer. Yeah, okay. So we're trading below, pretty much lower than it's been through any of our market bullish moves. So again, for guys who are buying NEO, you can see a massive level obviously here. Okay, 0.02. We've bounced, we've come all the way back down from what was a massive high throughout this market breakdown period of July, August 2017, which was one of our bullish runs. We've come all the way back down to those previous levels again, which were retested from the first move up. Okay, so it's tested it here, moved up, double bottom, retested it there, and then it's gone on a massive run. It's come all the way back down to that level again, and then we've had another massive run back to bang smack on the previous highs, which was here. Okay, then we've gone on to make a small pullback, then another new all-time high. Okay, which then turned into a head and shoulders pattern, into a massive sell-off. We've had a small move to the upside before continuing the bearish market, and we're now in the lowest Satoshi value we've pretty much been in since the coin's very early inception. So before the coin took off in any of the moves, we're now at the lowest point of that since then. As far as Neo itself, it's a great, it's a great long-term project. For the guys looking to just buy altcoins and hold them long-term for the next couple of years or whatever, at these kind of levels, there's nothing wrong with dollar cost averaging in again. I mean, obviously, we're at lows. You don't know how low the market's going to go, guys, but historically, you can see the potential to the upside. This is what I talk about when I say upside potential. Now, back to these two highs here, we can definitely hit those two highs again. Like, in the next bullish market cycle, price can get back to these highs again, which is more than 7 times upside potential. So, if you're looking to buy altcoins at the moment at these kind of levels, there's nothing wrong with starting to dollar cost average in, with these kind of coins. There's nothing wrong with that. The other thing you can potentially do on coins like this that are approaching these new lows, there's also nothing wrong with setting a really low buy order, okay? Just in case it wicks all the way down to that buy order and you pick up a ridiculous amount of coin. Now, I think I saw something on Facebook earlier with, I'm sure it was Strat. Yes, look at Strat. I mean, you can see the potential in the upside of Strat. And last time we got down here, it was trading around 4,000 or 5,000 level, and it spiked all the way down. That's basically just someone dumping on the market, offloading all of their coins in one hit. Got all the way down to 1,000 sats. So if you had a buy order right down here, your buy order is fulfilled and you've automatically made 3-4 times your money. Same thing that just happened here on Strat. Like, I don't know if this was a market, like a screw up by somebody, or they've just like completely abandoned crypto and gone, screw it, getting out of all of my position. Because what these guys can do is they can, if they want to offload slowly at this level, they can obviously offload slowly at this level. But what they've done is they've just tanked price all the way down to 30 sats, like 30 satoshis. So anyone that had ridiculously low buy orders on Strat, if you somehow had a buy order at like, imagine if you had a buy order at like 40-50 sats. You've automatically made, what are we at? 1,800 sats divided by, say, 50 satoshis. You've made 36 times your money in the matter of a click of a finger. You know what I mean? If you had a buy order at 50 satoshis, that order got filled and you've automatically back at 1,800 sats. You made 36 times your money. So if there's a project that you are fundamentally very bullish on, as far as you've been following the team, you're following their Twitter, their Twitter, Reddit, whatever they mainly post on social media wise, if they're hitting their roadmaps, if they're hitting what they're trying to achieve, the team's still active on social media, they're still active in their development, there's nothing wrong with setting extremely low buy orders on those coins, okay? Because sometimes, you can see it here, evidently. Sometimes things like this happen, and if you pick up one of those ridiculously low buy orders, that just changes the whole game for you in an instant. If you hit one of them buy orders in an instant. Now, obviously, to have those buy orders in place, you need to have the capital set in the buy order. So that capital is now tied up. It's not doing anything. But in a market scenario like this, if all you're doing is looking for long-term growth on your portfolio and you're looking to pick up, say, cheap Bitcoin or cheap altcoins or whatever, as long as the fundamentals are there of the coin, that the team is still strong, everything's still happening, low buy orders like that are fantastic to do stuff on. So I hope that answers your question, Apple Fury, and I hope that does actually help what you've been doing. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with when coins are at extreme lows like this, dollar cost averaging in. Now, things like Ethereum, even things like Ethereum, like we're talking a number 2, 3 market cap coin, even things like Ethereum, the upside potential here, you know, realistically is as far as 0.1 Bitcoin. I mean, we had a massive spike up to like 0.124, 0.125, whatever it was, but, you know, you're not going to target that level again straight away, but, you know, the potential to 2 times, 3 times, 4 times your money on, say, even Ethereum, for example. You know, Ethereum has over 2,000 decentralized applications. It's got, you know, thousands and thousands of active developers developing the coin. You know, Ethereum is, if you're going to bet on any specific project, you know, other than Bitcoin itself, like, Ethereum's probably it, realistically, based on how many people are actually utilizing the coin and building things for it. It's not a single team of people. It's an open, decentralized coin where, you know, hundreds of different developer teams are developing things to use on the Ethereum network. So fundamentally, it's very strong. Potential to the upside, very strong again. Things like that. So what we're going to be doing is in my forum area, we'll have pretty much probably the top, you know, we'll probably have at least the top 20, 30, 40 coins in there, and I'll chart up all of those different coins, and those coins will automatically be updated. Every time I update my charts, okay, they'll automatically be updated in here, so you can track what I'm updating, what I'm looking at on the go. And we'll probably even start typing up different notes on each coin, so I can quickly analyze them and look at them each time I go through. So that's to come, guys, very soon. Hopefully you've enjoyed the live, guys. We've been going for about 37 minutes now. Is there any other questions in the chat before I jump offline? No other questions? Cool, guys. We might call it there. And thank you for tuning in, guys. Peace out. Have a lovely afternoon. 1:30 p.m. here in Australia. So have a good afternoon, guys. Have a good weekend, and happy trading. Take it easy, guys. Have a good one.